So what I'm going to do is, now of course, I'm going to have the full weigh-in, one from Showtime and also one from our own correspondent coming up. But we're going to talk about it. I'm going to let you hear it for a while. I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy live at RealCombatMedia.com, and we cover every single major fight live. So 171.6 for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., which was surprising to me, and 171.4 for Fonfara. As you know, Fonfara is not a fighter who's undefeated, but yet a very tough fighter. And in my opinion, Chavez Jr.'s toughest test since Sergio Martinez. I mean, after all, he's only fought twice since then, and that was in 2012, where now in April the 17th, 2015, he's had only 2 fights with Brian Vera. One at 168 pounds, one at 175 when it should not have been. So basically, this is his first fight, full fight, fighting someone at 175 pounds. Now, there was no catch weight. These guys weighed in well under the limit. Fonfara is no stranger to 168 pounds himself. But in my opinion, he looks so much bigger than Chavez Jr. Not only weight, but also he is bigger than Chavez Jr. as far as height is concerned, but weight as well. We don't know who's going to come in looking like what, because Chavez Jr. has always had the advantage of being the bigger fighter and the advantage of being the more powerful fighter. Whereas in this case, we don't know. So where do we start? They made a weight. I mean, they made weight. They were well under the limit of 175 pounds. One of the reasons why is because each pound over the 175-pound limit would have cost the fighter $100,000. So Chavez Jr. has had that stipulation over his last couple of fights because it's like, you know, he's been basically just not making weight, you know, whatever the case may be. So Fonfara. Very good boxer, but I guess, you know, we need to talk about the politics because I've been talking about Fonfara and Chavez Jr. all week long. We got the press conference here, we got the weigh-in here, we got the media workout, we got interviews from Chavez Sr. I got some stuff to upload, interviews from Fonfara. I got a whole wealth of weigh-in footage coming, meaning footage from the actual weigh-in that I'm going to be getting out after this video. But we got to talk about what the fans may or may not know, and that is ticket sales. A friend of mine over on Facebook, also a boxing journalist, Michael Montero, tweeted a photo of all these tickets just sitting there, like a photo of just ticket. You know, he said they were freebies, but I've been hearing for quite some time, for the last couple of weeks, that ticket sales were moving extremely slow, which raises the question of, well, why didn't they have it in Chicago with that strong Polish audience? And I'm sure you can get it. Yeah, and you know, Mexico and Chicago, Mexicans and Polish people in Chicago would have sold out that arena. But you gotta think to yourself, well, they are having a fight in a pavilion this week coming up with Anthony Durrell and Bout Jack. Maybe that played a role. But then you think, well, Lucas Matisse or Matisse versus Provodnikov, that's in Verona, New York, and Verona, New York is far as shit. So I'm thinking like, well, damn, this is like a waste of a venue in a way, even though this is a fight that may turn out to be the fight of the night because Chavez Jr. can lose. He can lose, and I'm a big Chavez Jr. fan. What is he, 48-1-1 with 32 KOs? So the fact that they're not doing too well with tickets, I can understand to a certain extent because, for one, the pre-fight build-up wasn't there. For example, Chavez Jr. had his media workout 1 week ago today. And that media workout was one of the, listen, it just was, you thought mayonnaise was bad, Chavez Jr. just was cheap and lethargic. So I'm not saying, you know, that he's underprepared or whatever the case may be. Maybe they were doing it for mind games, but at the same time, us knowing Chavez Jr. as a fighter, knowing him as not being as of a motivated fighter, seeing him do a workout like that where he's not on the bags or anything, it just was, you know, kind of a smack in the face, in my opinion, just me. So, Fonfara has a good chance as far as, you know, he's been stopped before, yes, but still you can still say he has somewhat of a solid chin, and also you have to use the measuring stick of, look what he did to Adonis Stevenson. You know, he almost beat, or he could have beaten Adonis Stevenson. So I'm thinking, well, what can Chavez do? And Chavez is known to have somewhat of a slow work rate, but at the same time, you know, still, Chavez Jr. has some good boxing skills, and he is the type of boxer that you do not want to stand in front of and take shots from, period, because he will go all out and knock you the fuck out. But we're going to have to see, of course, once again, 171.6 for Chavez Jr., 171.4 for Fonfara. The limit was 175. The WBC has made up some bullshit BS title for this fight. I don't know what it's going to be called, and I don't know what it's going to mean. I doubt it's going to mean anything, but I guess they're trying to get Chavez Jr. a shot at that WBC, because remember, if you don't remember, I'll remind you, several months ago, the WBC was willing to make Chavez Jr. the mandatory for Anthony Dirrell at 168 pounds for the WBC title, even though he only fought one real fight at 168, and that was against Brian Vera. So that, you know, go look it up. I'm dead serious. So, you know, the WBC loves the Chavez family, period. The fact that they're making a belt for him, they're going to make him a mandatory, you know, several months back. So don't be surprised if you see Chavez Jr. as the mandatory for Anthony Dirrell don't be surprised if you see Chavez Jr. the mandatory for the winner of Anthony Dirrell in George Groves. Do not be surprised, because that's what it's looking like to me. Is that a stain? I am TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy live from RealCombatMedia.com. I'm going to go shave. It's a long week. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.